everybody, it's Bunny, and today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make my insane Asylum costume from last year's Halloween. It's by far been one of my favorite costumes that I've ever made, and I've gotten a lot of requests basically ever since I did it last year. It's really fun, easy, and cheap to make, so that's what I'm doing today. And I'm sorry for any noise that you guys may hear. Literally, one of my neighbors decided that today was the best day ever to just chop down every single tree in their yard. I don't even know. Where's the Lorax when you need them? Everything that you're going to need for this tutorial, you can either get from the thrift store or the dollar store. The first thing that you're gonna need is a nightgown, and really the only stipulation is that it needs to be 100% cotton. So I got this from the thrift store for I think like 80 cents. It was originally a baby pink color, but I literally soaked it in bleach for less than 5 minutes and it came out basically white. I wanted to make sure that there was still a little bit of pink accents because I think that that can be kind of cool. Like if you can't just find a plain white one, you could get a colored one, and then if you bleach it, it's gonna look kind of faded and more authentic. And that's one of my favorite things about doing homemade costumes. I generally do a homemade costume every single year because I think even if it's something, oh, now it's a plane, stop flying. I always think that anything that you can make, even if it's something simple like this, is gonna look way more authentic than anything you buy from the store, because a lot of store costumes tend to have a lot of that like really bright red fake blood stuff, and I mean even like blood on clothes, it doesn't dry bright red. So by doing stuff like this, you get something a lot cheaper and a lot more authentic, in my opinion. Besides the nightgown, all you're gonna need is a spray bottle full of tea, and this is just tea and water. And at the end of this video, I'm going to link my tea dyeing tutorial that I did about 2 or 3 months ago, and that'll give you some more assistance with just like how tea dyeing works if you've never done it before. The other thing that you're gonna need, and this you can definitely get from any dollar store, is a miniature sponge roller brush. You're also going to need a paintbrush, and really any cheap art store paintbrush or dollar store paintbrush will work. Last but not least, you're going to need black fabric paint or black liquid Rit dye. I personally think the black liquid Rit dye is easier. You can get it at Walmart and it's under $2, I believe. And then the last thing that's completely optional is if you want to save the tea bag that you made from tea dyeing the water, I'm gonna show you how you can use this in the end to do some pretty cool stuff. So the really fun thing about this costume to me is there's a lot of like character development in being an insane asylum escapee. You can really put a lot of thought into it. Like, do you just want to look kind of like dirty and disheveled? Do you want to add blood? If you wanted to add blood, you could get a crimson or deep red fabric paint instead of the black. Personally, I like to go with a more just kind of like disheveled, untidy, like dirty look. Like, I don't know, this was one of the funnest costumes I've ever done because it's just kind of like I had to get into the whole like Shutter Island mode, and for every costume I ever do and every Halloween, that's one of my favorite things because there's a big chunk of me that I think is an actore, so I like to really put myself in a character and kind of like develop a character, even if I'm just going to like a silly Halloween party with my friends or what have you. Since I like to go for a dirty, disheveled look, what I like to do is take the nightgown, and I'm sitting on like a sewer drain right now because I really think if you do this outside on a sidewalk or like some kind of gravel textured surface, it tends to look better than if you do it like inside the house on smooth tile or something like that. So you're just gonna wanna lay the nightgown out on a flat, gravelly surface, and you're just going to want to spray with a spray bottle and just start misting tea lightly all over the nightgown. That's probably like the worst shot ever, but like I said, it's really easy and you don't have to be exact with this. See, it's kind of like just dripping larger spots every now and again, and that's really what you want. You don't want it to look too even or too purposeful. Pretty much after I spray the entire nightgown, I do that several times, like pretty much 10 or 11 times over the course of the next 2 days. I definitely set it outside for the entire time that I'm doing this, because that really kind of lets the heat from the sun and everything permeate the tea more into the gown. It helps it stain more. It's going to bring out darker colors, and every single time, you know, it's going to drip in different spots. The next thing that I do is I take some of the RIT dye and I literally just pour it into the cap. You don't need any kind of fancy utensils to do this. And then what I do is I take the paintbrush, and you're gonna wanna concentrate on the bottom edge of the gown. And I do it on the bottom edge because I'm thinking, like, if I was an insane asylum escapee, maybe I'd be like out in a forest or something, and I'd be dragging the nightgown through like dirt and forest and things like that. And it's really hard for me to hold the camera and do this at the same time. So I'm just gonna do a little bit of it, and then I will point the camera at it and show you what I've done. But you definitely just want to, you know, not do it in any kind of like purposeful manner here. So I just take the brush and kind of like dab with it, or sometimes do like an actual like brush stroke, and then you're just gonna wanna just on the very end. And sometimes I even go back after I've let it sit out for a little while, and I like dilute this with some water, just go over the same area with water or bleach. And really, there's pretty much any utensil you can think of that's an easy household utensil you can go back and add to this, and it'll just make it look more authentic. Like sandpaper, if you want to rub that anywhere on the fabric or on the edge of the dress, that's going to add some distressing. You could also get some deep purple paints, dilute them with water, mix them into the black. So let me just show you what I just did here. That's basically what's going on. You don't want to be too even with it. You just want to put it on the bottom. And this actually came out darker than what I would like, so I'm probably going to go back through and dilute this with some bleach. That's one of the reasons why I really try and stress that it's important to get a nightgown that's 100% cotton, because cotton is a really, really easy fabric to bleach out, and also just the fabric fibers are much more accepting. You're gonna get a lot of this kind of you know, where it like seeps into the fabric, if that makes any sense. So the same thing with the roller, honestly. This is just another tool that adds texture to it. You just basically, now this is really messy, but I just pour some of the RIT dye on the ground, literally, like I will show you. Make a little puddle on the ground, and then I just take the roller and just roll it through, you know, and kind of like roll it all over the concrete. And I'll show you what my roller looks like so you can see that it's really not got a lot of dye on it at all. And then you're just going to want to texture some places very lightly on the gown. And when I say lightly, I mean like just very gently kiss up to the fabric. It's important to also not roll the roller over the gown when it's laying flat, because once again that's going to look too purposeful and like, you know, you just did it for a costumey type purpose, which you are. But you just roll it lightly over like a wrinkled spot plus the texture with the ground, and see, that just gives you this kind of dirty speckled look. And then when you unfold it, which hopefully this is showing, see, it just looks kind of dingy at that point. And then you just go back and you just spritzy a little bit with the tea. And I'll get an up close of me texturizing with the roller ball. That's not a roller ball, that's inside of a pen. Where is my mind? I'll just go ahead and give you guys a visual really quick of me doing some of the rollered texturizing so you can see how it looks. So see, I have it all wadded up here and just getting excess dye off like that, and then just very lightly you kiss up against it, and it just gives you these residual flecks of what looks like dirt or grime. And also, if you get a nightgown with any of this like lace stuff, you can go through with a seam ripper or scissors, and you can kind of like cut at these little things and fray them, and you know, add a little bit of darker texturing or lighter texturing, whatever you want. So that is just basically that process, and like I said, I come back over 2 or 3 days and just come out and add some new colors, dimensions, texture spots, spraying with tea, you know, just whatever I think it needs, wherever it needs it. It's just very, very simple. And then, like I said, the last thing you can do is take this tea bag, and since it has the tea leaves in it, you just rip it open and reach in. And if you want to even do this while you have it on, like if you want to make it look like the crazy person has been rubbing their hands on the gown for many, many years, you can do that. I just kind of like rub it together in my fingers and then just kind of like smear it with my hand. And because there is more coloration in the tea leaves, sometimes that'll create darker spots on the gown, even than spraying the tea will do. So that's basically it. It's really like one of the simplest costumes that you can make. And the cool thing about this costume is when you're done, since it's cotton, it's so comfortable, and you're using pretty much all natural and soft paints and stuff like that, you can wear it as pajamas. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. So really, there's no limitations here. You can pretty much do anything that you want to it, and just make sure that you stick with fabric dyes or fabric paints, because that's going to leave it looking soft instead of, if you use acrylic paint, that's going to dry hard. It's also not going to launder very well if you do want to wear it as jams. I wear my one from last year's pajamas all the time. It's really comfortable, and it reminds me of good memories of Halloween. Let me know down below if there was other aspects of that costume that you wanted me to do a tutorial for. If you wanted to see the makeup and the hair, I can do that as well. The only other aspects that you really need for this costume, if you want to do exactly what I did, is get an ankle chain. And I literally just went to like Lowe's or a hardware store, and I bought a length of chain and just wrapped it around my ankle. That does kind of hurt after a while though. And then last but not least, I had my Club Kid platforms, which are a substitute brand, and I bought those on Nasty Gal like over a year ago now, so I'm not sure if they make those anymore or not. If they do, I'll try and link them down below for you guys. But anyway, really simple. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Love you guys. If you want, take a minute to subscribe. Be here for the rest of Vlogoween. Give a gator its wings. If you want, you can like me on Facebook, facebook.com/graveyardgirl, or you can follow me on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram @graveyardgirl, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.